Looking for a business phone system with no hassles? Want to save on your phone bills? Call VoIP office on 248-436-3600. That's 248-436-3600 and get your business telephone system in just one day.
Looking for fun place with friends? Stop at India Flavors for happy hour from 10 p.m. to midnight. Located at 29205 Orchard Lake Road, Farmington Hills, MI 48334.
Do you play cricket in town? India Flavors offers 10% off to all DCL players on buffet. India Flavors, best in town for Indian food.
If you own or manage a medical practice and are looking for a medical biller who can help you collect payments on time, then look no further than Bill My Claims. Bill My Claims specializes in claims processing for all insurance carriers, including workers' comp and auto. Bill My Claims can help you get paid quickly and accurately. Bill My Claims specializes in dealing with payers so you can focus on what you do best, treating your patients. It's critical for providers to focus on delivering quality care with greater patient satisfaction since it affects your payments. Team with Bill My Claims are currently helping physical therapy, internal medicine, and family practices with their revenue cycle management. Bill My Claims can help with all your medical billing needs. Call us today at 734-237-3497 or go to www.billmyclaims.com.
What makes a face beautiful? A beautiful smile, of course. Dr. Sirisha Smile Centers. Call 248-813-7700. That's 248-813-7700. Conveniently located in Troy and Farmington Hills. Schedule as per your convenience and timing. Come to Dr. Sirisha Smile Centers. We'll put a smile on your face.
Views expressed in are purely personal, nowhere related to DCL Radio Management, Detroit Cricket League, Detroit Cricket League teams, or players, or the captains, or the sponsors of Detroit Cricket League, or the sponsors of DCL Radio. Thank you.
Welcome to Detroit Cricket League Talk Show. We are into the last 2 weeks of our season. Semi-finals are coming up this weekend, and the most eligible teams made it to the semi-finals. And what they guaranteed with this one is, we are going to see a new champion for 2017. Okay, and to discuss about how these semi-finals are going to be, we have our regular analyst KK. Welcome, KK.
Yeah, Jagan. Thank you, Jagan.
Okay, and we have brought in a specialist who can give his thoughts about winning, how to win the game. Though they did not perform well this year, then his team has the history of top-notch teams. Welcome, Viju, the captain of Gladiators.
Thank you, Jagan. Thank you, KK. I wish all the listeners on this show happy listening, and thank you for having me on the show. I'm excited to join the show and look forward to a wonderful and fabulous 1 hour.
Okay, and unfortunately, we don't have Jasneet and Venkat tonight. Venkat is busy shopping. His wife's birthday is tomorrow. Happy birthday to your wife, Venkat Vadnala. From DCL Radio and from our analyst group. In this process, what first we will discuss is how all the entire DCL predicted for this weekend semi-finals. I've sent note to almost all captains to come back with me with their predictions, and the unanimous vote is Thunder's winning on Raptors, and which is technically, Raptors got 0 votes, and remaining everybody said Thunders are going to win. And then the other game, Warriors versus Pokeries. To my surprise, Pokeries got all the votes except one vote from Kites. They said Warriors are going to win. And if I go by trend, the committee is also, DCL committee is predicting that one, and our own analyst group is predicting the same ways. And with that said, I'll go to KK first with a thank you note to all those umpires who did fabulous job in the last week quarterfinals. KK, what do you think about coming semi-finals? You want to go team by team or game by game?
It's just game by game.
Okay.
So I'll start with Thunders versus Raptors. Okay. And if we have seen this year's DCL, one notable point is that no one from Thunders, I repeat, no one from Thunders is in those top 10 best batting or the best bowling list of top 10. So no one from Indus Thunders is there, but yet they have been unbeaten because they have those 11 guys who on any day could score runs and can also bowl and take wickets. So you talk about team efforts, how they win games. This is a classic example of it. And this year, after Indus and Spartans merged and split into Indus Thunders and Indus Bolts, even though Indus Bolts did not perform well, Indus Thunders made up for it, and they are unbeaten. And in my opinion, they are the favorites to win this year's DCL. Whereas coming to Raptors, so Raptors this year somehow, I think with the help of Amar, Pradeep Botta and Vikas Bijum, they were able to make it till this particular stage. But again, look at the performance, look at the stats. Only 3 guys, were consistently scoring: Amar, Pradeep, and Vikas. And Pradeep has been phenomenal in the last 2 games. He had back-to-back 20, and even though Vijay is on this show, so they were on the other side on that particular game. But I had Pradeep played a blinder, and he was able to get his team home. So this trio is really important for this game. Vikas, Pradeep, and Amar. You get a couple of them, and the game is in your bag. Whereas you can't talk the same thing about Indus Thunders, because all the 11 of those guys, they can play long innings, and they have a couple of guys who can hit the ball out of the park. And it's a perfect combination, I would say. Sandeep Gopu, who is their captain, was their opening bowler the last year, whereas this year he hardly got a chance to bowl. So that talks about the talent in the team.
Okay, let me go to Viju. Viju, last week, I don't know whether you heard the show or not. Highest teamwork, when between Raptors and Glads game, highest teams predicted that Gladiators are going to win, and beating that expectation, Raptors won the game. What do you think? What do you think about their semi-final chances and what they have to do if they have to win?
Well, if Raptors have to win, I think they need a little bit better, more production from quite a few more guys, you see. Because I think in the game against us, if you asked me, at the 14-over mark, they were 32 runs, I think, for 4 wickets, if I'm not mistaken. I remember coming out when the power play was taken. I believe the power play was taken in the 15th over, if I'm not mistaken. But I remember coming out and asking the score, and the score was 32, which is roughly 2 runs an over, and you're talking about another 52 runs in about 11 overs, you see. So from there, they took the game, and absolutely blinder of an innings from Pradeep Botta. I have not seen him play that well ever before, and I honestly felt that I didn't see a single shot from him which was wrong. It was played on the merit and chanceless innings. It was a fantastic innings. Too bad I was on the receiving end, but you have to give the man credit where the credit is due. And sure, Vikas played well, but he was completely overshadowed by Botta's innings. Botta was the real guy in there, and we really didn't have any answers for him. And if you really look at it, we should have won that game from there, but Again, I think that we did a lot of things right. We manufactured 36 wides from them. That was something which we felt that we had to do. We felt that there was a weakness in their bowling. We exploited that. But we didn't get any real production, not a single Glad's batsman in double figures. And that's the story of the game. So that's just my opinion on that. Going against Thunders, I think it's going to be a very uphill battle. I think toss is going to be extremely key to the whole thing. And honestly, I feel that for Raptors to win, they'll need more production. Simple as that. They just cannot afford to do what they did against Glads and hope that Thunders is going to roll over. I don't see that happening at all. So there's a lot of things which they have to improve upon. I personally think Thunders is going to win this game, but Raptors have some difference makers. Again, if Nawpreet gets off and scores a bunch of runs, he can hit the ball clean, and when he hits the ball stays hit. But will Thunders give him that opportunity? I think that the Thunders bowling is better than the Glad's bowling, so they do have some problems there. But that's just my opinion.
So what is the pressure factor here? Right now Thunders are unbeaten. Don't you think that pressure will be there in their mind, especially in a semi-final game, knockout game?
I think if I look at it, Thunders and Glads, I think in 2013, I believe, we went undefeated until we reached the finals. I think we were 15-0 or something like that, and then we reached the finals, and then we lost the finals by 2 runs. We didn't feel pressure anywhere along until we reached the finals. That's when the jitters started coming up, and that's when, we saw a little bit of a dip in production. That's when, the weight of the expectation starts getting to you. Going into the semi-final game, we didn't feel that kind of pressure or anything like that. But again, then, remember, the Falcons bowling was much better than anything else which we had faced until then. I don't think Thunders are going to face anywhere that kind of a bowling pressure from Raptors. Honestly, Jagan, I and Ronnie, we are the last 2 batsmen, and we batted for 5-6 overs, and we didn't give a single life to the Raptor bowlers. So I find that difficult to believe that if the Raptor bowlers cannot trouble us, and we are absolutely nobody in terms of batting, the Thunders batsmen are far superior to any one of us. So they shouldn't have any problem, and if they have a problem, then they really need to examine and say, they're not approaching the game right. I mean, they should have absolutely no problem. And I am telling you, the Glad's batsmen failed. Simple as that. But it's a lack of application, and I think Thunders have been applying themselves very well. But the toss is going to be key. You know what is going to happen. Raptors win the toss, 100% I'll write it in blood, in my own blood, that they will bowl. There is absolutely no doubt about it. They have a sterling record, 8-0. They are unbeaten. And they will not test fate there. So, Thunders, they can do anything. They can bat first, they can field first, it doesn't matter. So, if I'm the Thunder captain, I definitely want to change a few things, Let the Raptor skipper show to me that they can do something different. And they haven't shown that yet, you see. The 5 times that they have gone, they have 2 wins and 3 losses, and I think 1 tie or something like that. But it's 2-1 and 3, I think, if I'm not mistaken. And so that's going to be a problem. That is an Achilles heel. And so we'll have to wait and see how that toss is going to pan out. I mean, I was very sure when we went into the last game, despite some of our Glads guys saying that we should bat first if we win the toss. I was very clear in my mind that if we won the toss, we would have 100% made them bat first and set a target. So let's see what happens.
Okay, KK, you want to add anything for this game before we call? I would like to call Raptors Anand. Yeah.
Yeah, let's make the call, Jagan.
Give me 1 second. But
the Raptors captain?
No. We are not calling captains. 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 We are leaving captains to plan their what do you call that one? Their game. We are calling some of their key players Okay, I mean, just to see how they are doing. Do they? I mean, with few questions to them, just to find out what are they talking within their team. Okay, let me try calling Anand Srinivas. Okay. Meanwhile, you guys can continue talking. KK, if you want to add anything, you can add.
Yes. No, I agreed with what Viju said. As in, if I win the toss, I would put Raptors in, because more often than not, they were successful chasing than putting a score on the board when they play first. So, and with Indus Thunder's batting depth, I think if they have 80 or 90 or whatever it is, they can go for it. So I would definitely put Raptors in.
KK, when I look at Raptors and Thunders, are you familiar with the Jason and the Argonauts story? It's a Greek,
Not really.
Greek mythology type of thing. I don't know if you're not familiar. Jason is basically trying to get back the kingdom which belonged to his father, and it has been usurped by his uncle. And when he tries to go and get his kingdom back, the uncle says, "Go and get me the golden fleece." And it might jog a little bit of memory for some of you, the readers out there or the listeners out there. And while going to get this golden fleece so that he can recover his kingdom, he runs into an island, and he has to cross a narrow strait. And the problem with that narrow strait is there are two sets of moving rocks, and those rocks, basically anytime a ship goes through, those rocks come together and crush the ship and crush everything in between, And according to me, the Raptor bowlers are that. Basically anything, if you give them a set target, they'll come and, crush you. I mean, they're very good at bowling to that specific target. But anytime you can create a little bit of doubt in their mind, and that's what we did. We sent two left-handers in there. Their only job was to stay there and rotate the strike, and the whites came in the bucket loads, and we adjusted the line and length wherein batsmen moved up and down the wicket, kind of a thing. Those bowlers get rattled. If you give those guys anything set target, those guys will hardly give you any wides. They like to know something in certain. That's what I found out about the Raptors after playing the first game. As long as they know what they need to get, they know how to get the job done. Now you ask them to get the job done and ask them to set the target. Now all of a sudden they have too many opinions, too many ideas. They are not very clear in their head. That's when errors start creeping up. And that's why I feel that, the record is lopsided. 2 wins and 3 losses and 1 tie when batting first. But undefeated while chasing. It doesn't matter whether the target is small or big. They are very clinical. They are not concerned about bonus. They are not concerned about any of those things. By the 25th over, 2 balls to spare, 3 balls to spare, 4 balls to spare, they get the job done. I mean, I have not seen a team that clinical. And if I am Gopu, I certainly don't want to test that out in the DCL semi-final.
Okay, we have Anand Srinivasan from Raptors here. Welcome to the show, Anand.
Hey guys, thank you for having me on the show.
Okay, so the straightforward question, what is your think tank doing?
So we ended up in the bar twice this week rather than our usual once a week. So that tells you the dedication from our team. But jokes aside, we did have a good practice session this week, and there is a good belief in the team that we will pull through. So, yeah, I think it looks pretty good right now that within the Raptors team, we have this confidence that we can play pretty well. But, of course, Indus Thunders has been doing amazing the whole season. There is no doubt in that. They've got some really good talent. But I think we will be able to give a good fight.
What do you think if you guys have to win? What do you think you guys have to do you guys have to do against Indus, like getting key players or something like that? Who is that?
Key players, we have pretty much everyone available, whoever qualified. So in that regards, we should be all set. And our obvious flaw last game was the extras. So if we can restrict that extras to under 15, I think we have a very good chance.
Okay, see, that's your team. Suppose if you have to think about opposite team, who are the who do you guys think is the key guy in their team? Like suppose if you take Srikanth Eru, he's their best batsman. So like that, do you guys have plan for any of these guys? Okay, if I can get this guy, okay, this team is done, like that. Do you guys have anybody in your mind?
No, we don't have like one person on mind, because we know that the Thunder's team, they bat pretty deep. But on a given day, whoever is playing well is what we would target the most.
Okay,
so we don't have a specific plan for each person.
Good. Now with that, we have Jesse joined the show. Welcome, Jesse.
Hey, thanks, Jagan.
Okay. KK, you have any questions for Anand?
So the only question that I have for Anand is, who are going to be your 5 bowlers? Are you going to play Vignesh or not? That depends on the fate of the game.
Well, I can't say that for sure, because we have a final 12 right now. So the 11th spot will be decided by Vikas tomorrow, I guess. But our 5 bowlers will be the usual: Vikas, Nappreet, Kiran, and we hopefully have the other lefty, Sandy, available too. So, and maybe Vignesh Jetta.
Okay.
So we've got enough options in terms of bowling, but if we can cut down on extras, I think we have a pretty good chance.
Very good. And Viju, any advices to Anand?
Well, he already answered the $1 million question. He already Sandeep is going to play. I already wrote in my column, if Raptors want any chance, Sandeep has to play. And if I was Vikas, I would have kidnapped Sandeep from his house. It's as simple as that. I will not let Sandeep go out of town. I will not let Sandeep go even to the loo. He'll probably has to take permission from me. That's how critical Sandeep is going to be. That left arm spin is going to give nightmares. And I'm telling you, if Gopu, I'm pretty sure, is listening to the show, the moment he realizes that Sandeep is playing, that adds a huge element, because those guys are very good players of fast bowling. But the moment the spinner is coming into play, now all of a sudden everything else is this thing. Now, how Vikas uses Sandeep and who he uses Sandeep against is going to be the next thing which Vikas has to handle. But I think Anand already answered, let the cat out of the bag, wherein he said that Sandeep is in the mix. And that I can guarantee, if he is in the mix, he is absolutely playing. Somebody out of the other 11 who played against Glads is definitely on his way out. Simple as that. And I think now all of a sudden the game became a lot more interesting. It's no more that one-sided as I was thinking it was going to be if Sandeep was not playing. But if Sandeep is playing, this can become anybody's game now.
Okay.
Viju, was hoping you mentioned my name, but I'm offended.
DCL is a bowler's game, my friend. DCL is a bowler's game.
Good. Jesse, do you have anything?
Not, I would say, any question to Anand or for any of the Raptors teammate, but yeah, I can only say it's a mouth-watering contest, and it has all the credentials to be game of the week, though we only have 2 games. But yes, I think Raptors versus Indus Thunders, just because of the momentum that Raptors team have gained, and because when a team actually wins by chasing down a target, and that to a target that is in excess of 80, I think momentum is bound to be on their side. But I think Indus have also done equally well by chasing a target of about 70 plus against a formidable bowling attack of Arsenal. So I think it makes a great contest, and I think my only advice would be, my only word for Raptors team would be for Pradeep Bota. I would say just don't get satisfied with what you have done for your team. Just stay hungry and carry your team on your shoulders and put it into the finals.
Okay, good. Before we let Anand go, I would like to say good luck, Anand, and hope you guys make it to finals.
Thank you. Thanks, guys, and thanks for the advice.
And thanks a lot for joining the show. Okay, with that, let's get
Anand,
in.
good luck, yeah.
Thanks.
Okay, then the next game obviously is our man Jesse's team Warriors versus Pokeries. And Jesse, let me tell you something. I don't know whether you are listening this show. I took a opinion from most of the teams, and there was one team that supported you. Remaining all, they are thinking that Pokeries will walk it very easily. Okay, yeah, that one team is Kites. Team? You must send flowers to them. Kites is the team that supported Warriors. They thought Warriors are going to win. Okay. Being said that, I before you guys, get into discuss about this game, I will call Srikanth Eru to see what Thunders are thinking. Okay, just you guys carry on with our next game.
All right, Viju, what do you think about this game? What do you think will be the defining factor in this game? Before I go to Jasneet, I think you can start.
Well, I think it's good that we are having Jesse on the show, because it'll be good to see what he has to say. But between you and me, I'll tell you, Jesse is not going to reveal a whole lot of information, if I know Jesse well, you see. So he's going to probably garden around the facts, but you're probably not going to get too much information. And if I was in his shoes, I would probably do the same thing too. But I think if Warriors need to win, they need to create a Trojan horse syndrome. You know what I'm talking about, KK?
The Trojan horse syndrome.
All right, I'll explain it to you. All right, so we need to create some excitement, right? And this is a cracker of a game. And according to me, for Warriors to win, it's going to be an uphill task. And for an uphill task, what does Warriors Jesse have to do? He has to create the Trojan horse syndrome. Think of Helen of Troy, all right? Helen, basically, if you really look at it, she was the most beautiful woman in the world. And what happened was that, this is again, I'm going back to Greek mythology. Helen was the wife of Menelaus. And what happened was that from Troy, the prince of Troy was a guy by the name of Paris. Now, apparently, between three Greek goddesses, there was an argument as to who was the most beautiful. And they went to Paris to decide, because he was a very attractive-looking young man, as to who is the most beautiful woman. And so what happened was that the goddess Aphrodite was crowned by Paris as the most beautiful woman. So what happened is that in return for that, what she did is she cast a spell on Helen, wherein Helen fell in love with Paris. And Helen left her husband, which was the king of Greece, Menelaus, and went with Paris to Troy. Well, Menelaus, when he was enraged, his brother took the entire army of Greece and a whole bunch of people and went and marched against Troy. When they marched against Troy, well, they attacked it from the seaports. They surrounded Troy from all angles, but they couldn't break through Troy's defenses. 10 years they fought. 10 years. And still couldn't this thing. I mean, lots of people died through the war and things like that, and finally it was a standstill. Finally, the Greece army realized, you know what, we are not going to win this game by going to the same old principles. We have to, and that's when they came up with this Trojan horse, which is they built a big horse and, put a whole bunch of soldiers inside the horse, and then they left the beaches and they left the horse standing there by itself. Once the army inside Troy saw that, all the people have departed, They came out to inspect the horse. They checked the horse out, brought it inside the kingdom. The next thing you know, in the night, these guys come out of the horse. They open up the gates, and that's how they win the game, you see. And so if you ask me, if you really look at it, who is Helen? Helen is really the DCL Cup. Aren't all these guys chasing the DCL Cup? Helen was very attractive. Every male who was worth his salt wanted Helen, and here you have Jesse. What does he want? He wants the DCL Cup. What does Ravi Narala want? He's been chasing the DCL Cup too. What does Thunders want? They want the DCL Cup. And what does Raptors want? They want the DCL Cup too. So all of them are chasing for the same DCL Cup. Who is Melanias in this? I think Melanias is just neat. Well, he's the one who was there last year and almost tasted the DCL Cup. He wants that DCL Cup, and he could taste it. It was very close. You know, he could have grasped it last year itself, you see. Unfortunately for him, his best player just departed 24 hours before the big game, you see. Who is Paris here? Paris is our good friend Ravi Narala. He has been, he has this whole battery of stars. If you take that Avinash Raghu is a very stylish player. You take who is this guy? Prasanna Venkatesh. I mean, he is absolutely a dashing player. And you have the swashbuckling Ravi Teja Reddy. Then you have the master of all trades and jack of none, Vignesh Venkatesh. I really did not make any. I purposefully said that. He is the master of all trades. He is absolutely not a jack of any trade. That guy can play flat out play. He's a fantastic player. And so you have all these guys and they have the inside edge. And if Jassi goes for a 1-to-1 battle with these guys, it's not going to win. You have to create something of a diversion. You have to keep it a close game. Because if this becomes a high-scoring game, I don't fancy Jassi's chances. I don't fancy the Warriors' chances. Keep that game close. Keep that game within striking distance. And then all you need is the pressure itself will get to Narala and company, and then you'll find that all kinds of magic starts happening. But as long as Jassi and company can keep it close, think outside the box, those guys are again good fast ball players, little bit of movement. Jassi himself has some very good movement in his bowling. Get some of those guys to get some false shots from some of these attacking batsmen, and I think we have a game on hand. I mean, if Jassi can keep it close, and that's what all of DCL will be hoping. I myself will be hoping that if I watch this game, that I want the game to be close, because that's when the real excitement comes into this thing. And Jassi can't have what happened last game. He got only 22 runs from 9 batsmen. Remaining 38 runs or 40 runs came from just 2 batsmen, Bhargav and the other opener there, Harsha or whatever it was. But basically, he needs more than 22 runs. And this is the big game. He's a big game player. Jassi needs to produce. He needs all the other guys to come and produce and make this a close game. We might have a cracker of a game. I mean, I really have high hopes on this game. I really think that Jassi will cover all his bases and come prepared, keep it close. And the pressure is on Ravi Narala and company. I mean, they know that the field is wide open, so it'll be interesting. Let's see what happens.
Okay, we have a new number here. May I know who's on the line? Is it... Hello?
Jagan, I think we can continue.
Okay, just carry on. There's a new number. I saw it on the show. I'm trying to reach Srikanth Therivu. He did not pick up. So I tried to reach Dhruv. He did not pick up. So I'm thinking one of these two guys are on the line.
Hi, this is Srikanth speaking.
Hey, Srikanth. Welcome to the show, man.
I'm sorry. My phone was sorry about that. Yeah, thank you very much.
That's fine. See, before we ask you any questions, I would like to tell you something. Entire DCL is thinking that you guys are going to make it to the finals. What kind of pressure is on you guys? And before you answer that one, let me welcome Dhruv Palmer of Warriors. He's also on the line. Dhruv, welcome to the show.
Hello. Yeah. Hi.
Okay.
Hello, everyone.
Just hold on for a second. We will come to you. Okay. After talking to Srikanth.
Sure, no problem.
Yes, Srikanth.
Yep. All right. So, talking about the pressure, I don't think we have any pressure. Saying that I don't keep saying that we have like a lot of pressure or something like that. Definitely coming to semifinals is not an easy thing. Now, from this point, even from the quarterfinal itself, whoever holds the pressure in the game are the winners. So we have been doing that well in the pre-quarters and the quarters. Hopefully, we'll be doing that in the semis and finals as well. So every team, all the semifinalist team, all the 4 teams are equally equipped. So all the players are really good. So whoever holds the pressure, they're going to win the match. That's it.
Okay, you already declared that you're going to win. Okay, and okay.
See, we did. So this is how it is. We did well in the pre-quarters and quarters. As I said, we hold the nerve and we did well. So we expect to do the same thing in the semifinals and finals as well. That doesn't mean that we'll be the. I'm not declaring that we are the champions. So
but I love your confidence. Okay, KK, any questions to him?
Yes. So Srikanth, in the first 4 games that you have played this year, I think you have scored more than 20 runs in 3 of those games.
Yep.
And out of them, a couple of them were high-profile games. Okay, and after that, I personally felt you have not got enough chances because you did not play a single ball in 3 games. Okay, and even the rest of the games, you're only playing in the fag end of the innings. Okay, and what is your personal take on this?
So, I personally feel
Sandeep is still going to take you out for a nice celebration if you win the tournament. That's fine. But this is a personal question.
That's a very good question, KK. I feel it's very. You questioned it very politically, but that's fine. If you see the batting order every time, even the big games or small games, whatever you call it, it's pretty calculated and a very disciplined batting order it is. So we have a strategy within ourselves, like who should be in the middle order and who should be the opening pair and who should be in the down middle order. That is how we went. And as I said, like first 4 games, I got a chance to bat. Yeah, definitely. The opening pair didn't do well, so that's the reason it came to the middle order and I got a chance. And after that, if you see, every time the opening pair did very well, and after that the strategy has changed, and our captain tried new players, and that's how everyone gets chance, and that's how everyone proved themselves. That is how it is.
Okay.
It doesn't mean that. Yeah, go ahead.
I have a question. Is it the same side or any changes?
I cannot say that. It's definitely captain's choice. If you ask me if I would go with the same playing 11, probably I would do that.
Okay. Jesse, do you have any questions for him?
Not really, because I personally think that the kind of momentum and the kind of winning streak Indus Thunders has produced this season, and I probably think if I have to predict, I will predict. As an analyst, I would predict Indus Thunders in this game. So according to me, they are again gonna be winning this game. So with a side unbeatable until the finals of a tournament, I think there are not too many questions that can be raised against that side. So I think they have been ticking almost all the check boxes almost every game. I don't think they have been troubled a lot. Whenever they have not scored a lot of runs, they have made sure that their bowling intensity has responded well. That, like against Agni, I think they scored just 50 odd runs, but they bundled them out for 40 odd. So I think they have tasted almost every way of success before reaching here, and I think that's a great thing to have for a team. And the question I think that KK asked to Srikanth, I think it is more of a team game, I would say. Shrikant must be, I mean, more happy that he do not have to do what he had to do for those 3 matches when he had to come down the order, 5 down, 4 down, and have to score those 20 plus, 30 plus runs to make sure that his team crosses the line. I think if a team wins convincingly, I think there is nothing better than that. The only thing I feel maybe going against Thunders that can go against them is that their lower middle order has not been tested under the immense pressure that a playoff game can create. They have done that in the first few games because they played the stronger teams, I think, up front more than in the latter part of their league. So I think if Raptors can get rid of their top 3, I think that can create a little bit of panic. But I'm pretty sure Shrikant and Rahul Shiv Pujay and other guys who are pretty much capable of doing the damage even if they are 4 or 5 down. And that's the beauty of Indus Thunder's team, because they have players who back their abilities. They don't care about pressure too much. So I think it can go in favor of Raptors, but for that I think they have to get rid of a brilliant opening partnership that has been working for Indus Thunders, that is Manoj and Chetan. And I think Manoj is the superstar of this league, actually, if you see, because he gives you those 5 overs which are very, very cunning. I think if someone faces Manoj, he has to be on top of his game. Otherwise, if you lose your guard even for a split second, I think he's make you trouble, get into trouble. So and I think for bowling, I think Indus Thunders, I've always said that if a team has such bowling resources that Chetan Dushyant is not getting to bowl with his T-ball, it speaks a lot of volume about how well and how balanced the bowling attack is. So I think this match has, as I said, has all the contests to go till the wire. But the plus point with the Raptors team is it's not a test match that is going for 5 days, where each and every department or each and every parameter of the cricket or your skill or your pressure is being tested. It's a 25-over game, and individual brilliance can always take over a teamwork that we have shown that Pradeep Bota has almost single-handedly has made his opponents get out of the tournament in a fashion where teams have actually fancied their chances, but they could not get Pradeep Bota out. And so I think if a couple of individuals from Raptors team again can get the game hang from scruff of the neck, I think the individual brilliance can always prevail over the team effort, especially in a limited overs game. So I think this is a pretty fair contest, and good luck to both the teams.
Okay, and before we let Shrikant go, Viju, do you have any question?
Actually, I do not have any questions on their batting front. I think the Indus lineup will not be changed at all. Whatever played in the previous game, they will play the same 11 this game too. I would be very surprised if any one out of those 11 is left out. They will play the same 11. I don't see any changes in that 11. In fact, all of those guys are battle tested. All these guys, whether it is, somebody like Rahul Shiv Pujay, I have seen him come number 11 and I have seen him come number 1. So, they have rotated that batting order all across. So going into the game, they are absolutely very certain of what each one of them can do. So I don't have any doubts on their batting ability. The only concern I have with the Indus Thunders is how will they handle Sandeep. I guess come game day we'll find that out. But on terms of batting, no doubts. I do have a little bit of a question on their bowling end, but again, they have too many resources. They have at least 7 or 8 bowlers, so it's like all of them can bowl. And Manoj has been absolutely fabulous. And last match, Vijay took 5 wickets. So if one person doesn't pick it up, somebody else is going to come and pick up. And Sandeep Gopu was a regular 5-over bowler, and this year he is hardly getting any bowling at all. So I think Thunders is done fabulous, undefeated, and I see them remaining undefeated, but we'll see what happens. But not really, I don't have too many suggestions for them. They are doing such a wonderful job. Srikanth has had a fabulous season. I wish him and his teammates good luck in the semi-finals.
Okay, Srikanth, thanks for coming, joining the show, and we wish good luck. Hope you guys make it to the finals. Thanks a lot.
All right. Sure. Just last few words. Thank you very much for everyone who gave all the positive words and everything. We definitely consider those as a blessings, and we'll move forward with that. I'm really sorry I was late in the show, and hopefully I doesn't make this mistake again. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful game, everyone, and all the best for all the semi-finalists. I'm representing Indus Thunders in this show. So consider each and every player, each and every one of us are wishing all other teams a very good luck. Hopefully we have a very safe and a joyful matches coming this weekend and the finals as well. Thank you.
Cool.
Bye.
Good luck. Sorry, Dhruv, we made you wait a little longer. Welcome to the show.
No, it's fine.
Okay.
Okay, guys, thank you. How are you guys?
Dhruv must be pretty fine because he actually gets to wait a lot for his batting also, so he's used to it.
Yeah. I'm not getting batting this year.
Okay, Dhruv, the first question to you.
Okay.
Any message from your captain?
No, he just asked me to just relax and have a good time until the semi-final. He didn't ask me to do anything else.
Okay.
I'm just relaxing, heading to the gym and then just going back home. So,
Jagan, I think the message. Sorry, Dhruv.
Yep. You can go. That's fine.
I think the message that from Jasmeet would have been, don't reveal the playing 11.
Okay. KK, any questions from you?
So, I'll start with what Jesse said. Dhruv has been waiting for batting this year. That is the statement they made. But I've been looking at the stats. Last year, Dhruv has been phenomenal. He made 167 runs throughout the season. And this year, he just made 49, out of which 18 came against Brownstone. And 10 single-digit scores in 12 games. But I hope he'll be able to change that in the semi-finals, because as of now, their batting is heavily dependent on Ganesh, Jashwant and Bhargav. These are the guys who are performing consistently. Nothing to take away from Jasmeet, but in the last 7 games, he had only 1 double-digit score. Okay, but if Warriors have to climb the mountain, defeat Pokeries and make it to the finals for the second time in 2 years, then yes, we need Jasmeet and Dhruv Parmar to step up, play up to their potential. That is the only message I would like to do on this show.
Yeah, I really hope after this message my captain sends me like 1 down or 2 down.
Now the question goes to Jesse actually. Instead of Dhruv, we should ask Jesse here. Jesse, your response.
I'll respond exactly how I feel and what was the thinking behind all these shuffling. I would say we actually do not come from a culture. None of us actually that has represented at a level that we are saying that okay, I'm an opener. I used to bat for 1 down at number 3 for 5 years during my state or during my national duties or something like that. So we all get recognized by how we perform on the field. And when you have a team who is actually made to the finals previous year and is there standing at the semi-finals and have all the chances to make another final and maybe win the cup, who knows? So you have to have individuals who are performing, and there must be a reason that Warriors have reached here. So it's all about performance, and I think reshuffling is only concerned to individuals who might not be making use of the position or the opportunity that they have been getting up the order. Because to me, the best batsman gets to face the most of the deliveries. That's been the usual consent in the limited overs cricket. Here, I would say it's a little bit tricky. You have to play a lot with the opposition mind also. You have to consider too many dynamics when you go into bat, who should go where. So I think what I recognize with Dhruv is when the season started, he was somehow off in a couple of games initial, and he, I think, himself knew that he wasn't actually there in the intensity level as he was there in the last season. So the others who thought or who always think that, I mean, if someone fails, there are individuals who will always raise their hand and say, I can do the job better. So it's always, I mean, for a captain, it's always things to try. And when you try and someone like Mukul Monga raises his hand, someone like Sachin raises his hand, someone like Harsha raises his hand, and oh boy, how Bhargav has responded to the opener slot, I think it's phenomenal. The kind of load that he's been taking for all the batting department, I think, is absolutely critical for a team to go this deep that Warriors have gone. So I think it's all about making the guys hungry. I'm very happy if Dhruv is feeling like he has to go to he should go top of the order, because when you know that you are always going to be at the top of the order, you know that you are always trying to, or you know that that's your job that's your part of the responsibility that you have in the team. Sometimes you take things for granted, but when you get hungry, when you again is ready to perform, when you know that if I get the chance in the next match, I'm not gonna let it go. That's when you perform your best, because not just cricket, there are too many things that we in our lives that we take for granted, and then we get bitten by them. So I think Dhruv now is completely into a zone that he can go any number and start performing. So I think, who knows, Dhruv may be going 1 down or 2 down in the semi-finals. Yeah.
Okay. Before we go to Dhruv Palmer, I just got a message from Abhishek Sunkari from India. Okay. I mean, this is what he said. On my way to Hyderabad in a bus and listening the show. Interesting panel and excellent assessment. Good luck to all semi-finalists. This is a message from Abhishek Sunkari from India. Okay. Vijay, are you there?
I am very much here.
Oh, okay. Dhruv Palmer, where do you see him in Warriors?
If I am Dhruv Palmer, I want to be where my skipper wants me to be. Because at the end of the day, I really don't care whether I bat 6 balls, 10 balls, 20 balls, 50 balls. I need to win the game. That's the only thing which needs to happen. It does not matter whether I score a century. It does not matter whether I score 50. It does not matter whether I score 10 runs. I rather prefer to score 3 runs and win the game than score 25 runs and not win the game. So if I am Dhruv Palmer, I shouldn't even be bothered about where I am batting. I am in the semi-final. That is more than enough. And how did I get to the semi-final? If KK is right and he's saying that, compared to last season to this season, there has been a drop in production. That means somebody else has stepped up to the plate and delivered. So they have brought you to the semi-finals. Well, now you are a big game player. I have seen Dhruv. He bats really well. He is capable of batting very well. He's capable of doing real good damage around the opposition. If I'm in his shoes, all I have to say is, man, there are 32 other teams who are not in my shoes, and I am in the shoes. And if Jesse wants me to go number 9, I'm going number 9. If Jesse wants me to go number 1, I'm going number 1. At the end of the day, 10 guys have to support Jesse and say, you know what, whatever decision he makes, that is the decision. We are here to make him look golden. Simple as that. The job of the skipper is to win the game. He really shouldn't be bothered about how much runs he scores or anybody else scores. He has only 1 goal and 1 goal alone. That is how to win the game, how to get the job done and move on to the next round. Simple as that. Right now, he has only 1 opponent, and that is Pokeries. He can't be bothered about finals. He can't be bothered about every other thing which is coming out of this thing. Take 1 game at a time. Let's win the game. Let's not worry too much about who gets to do what. Whoever has been asked to do a job, I'm sure the skipper has a very good reason why he was picked that person to do a job. Now try to do the job to the best of your ability. You have all the talent and ability in the world. Now it's just a question of, you got the opportunity. What are you going to do with that opportunity? And I just hope for Abhishek Roy's sake, for Jasneet's sake, and for all the Warriors supporters' sake, that the entire team realizes, you know what, we have a great opportunity. We are once again in the semi-final. Let's just go out and win the game. As simple as that.
Okay. So before I ask the last question to Dhruv, let me welcome Avinash Raghu from Pokeries. Welcome, Avinash.
Thank you, Jagan. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hold on for a second? Okay.
Sure.
Dhruv, now that you have a Pokeries guy here, I want you to tell me how confident you are beating Pokeries.
Oh, come on.
No, it's like it's a one-day game. It's up to like which team actually handles the pressures pretty well, right? So I can't say like I'm 100% confident of beating Pokeries, and either can I say that I'm 100% confident of losing. So it's a day game, so like anything can happen. I can't say like Pokeries is a really good team. There actually is a reason why they are in the semi-finals, right? So I would not take them for granted anyway.
Very well said. Very well said. Okay. And with that, we let Dhruv leave the show. Dhruv, thanks a lot for joining us, and good luck to you for the semi-finals.
Just one thing, Jagan.
Yes.
Just one thing, Dhruv, before you drop out. I know we actually took Dhruv's comment pretty seriously, and then we talked about it for at least 5-7 minutes. But I want to tell each and everyone that and by how much I know Dhruv, I can say that 100% because we play together. We are a family together. So he actually was making that comment in a pretty jolly way.
Jolly way. Yeah, I got it. I mean, see, I don't know about you, Jesse. I know about Dhruv.
I'm pretty happy to bat last down and see the team win because I could say each and every player in Warriors is a team player. So I really won't matter to me if I even score 20 runs for the whole season or if I score 20 runs for the whole season. Because the team is happy for us. So this is what I'm doing right now.
I see, Jesse, being a captain or being a friend of Dhruv, you can say 100 things about him, but from the outsider, I know about Dhruv. I mean, how people talk about him. He's a wonderful individual to be around with. Okay, so that's not at all a matter for us. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks a lot, Dhruv.
Okay. Yes. Thank you.
Yep.
Good night.
Oh, good luck, Dhruv.
Yep. Okay, sir. Thank you. Good night.
Thanks a lot. Good night. Okay, let's bring in Raghu now. Okay.
I was hoping the clock would tick over to 10 and you would just cut the call. But no, I'm not off the hook.
Okay. So, let me give a simple background. Out of all the teams, except for one team, everybody predicted that Pokeries are going to win. I mean, I have Warriors captain here, right, in the analyst group. Okay, I told him the same thing too. Okay, how confident you guys are? I mean, normally when I look at Pokeries, they are doing exceptionally well this year. I've seen it in last game as an umpire. Okay, what you guys are thinking about Warriors now?
First of all, at the outset, a very warm hello to everyone who's tuned in tonight. And I've heard about that poll, the opinion poll as well. And while it's very flattering, I just like to rephrase or paraphrase what Dhruv said, where ultimately cricket's a funny game. I mean, and out of 36 teams, if these two have made it to the final four, that means there's absolutely nothing you can take away from either side. So I would think that it's rather presumptuous of anyone to suggest that, it's going to be a cakewalk for Pokeries over Warriors. And I think, quite frankly, and I know the Warriors team pretty well. At least half of them are very good friends of mine, and I also know them that they're very good cricketers for a fact. So I think I would say it's rather demeaning to the Warriors team to just say that, they're just going to show up and be a side act. I don't think so at all. considering the talent pool they have. Jashu and Baghi has been doing excellent. Dhruv himself, Ganesh, and ably led by my dear friend Jasneet, who's probably one of the best tacticians going around in DCL. It's certainly not going to be easy. So I wouldn't, while I find the poll very flattering and probably a testament to people recognizing what the Pokeries are all about, I wouldn't read much into it.
Okay. KK.
I think, Jagan, you have instigated Jasneet twice by saying that, the poll is in favor of Pokeries. So, Avinash, just be aware of that.
Oh, most definitely.
Okay. Jesse, are you listening?
It tells me what side Jagan is on.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay.
Yes, and coming to the question, Avi, so Pokeries have quite a number of specialist batsmen who have not lived up to the potential this year. If I leave out Satish Mane because he keeps the wickets, you have Karthik Bopudi who scored 45 in 13 matches. Okay. Then you have Vinod who scored 20 runs in 7 games. And Avinash, you yourself have not performed to the potential except for the 26. You have just scored 58 throughout this season. Sean has not been performing. And Prabhu Sinnasamy, he scored only 29 in 5 games. Arun Saminathan has not been successful. And these are all your specialist batsmen. They don't bowl. They just come and bat and field for you. Yeah. Okay. And you have been heavily dependent on Vignesh in most of the games. And whenever Ravi Tej or Prasanna plays, they have been scoring runs. And they are your top 3 guys. Mm-hmm. And how confident is the group? Because to win games like semi-finals and finals, once in a while, an exceptional brilliance will take you over the line, but more often than not, it needs to be a team game that will make you cross the line. And what if Vignesh, Ravi, and Prasanna, a couple of them or all 3 of them fail? What I think Pokeries is not going to win the game if all the 3 fail or at least 2 of them fail. Now tell me, what is the feeling within the team about the semi-finals, and how dependent are you on these 3 folks?
Boy, you came with your knife sharpened, didn't you? But that's a valid point that you make. Yes, I guess Prasanna, Vicky, and Teja have pretty much been the backbone of our batting unit. But the way we think about it is, yes, all of us do have potential, and ultimately it's all about turning it around on game day. Sure, some of us might not have clicked thus far, which probably only means that we are due for something big very soon. So while yes, the loss of any of them, or maybe catastrophically all 3 of them, would be a big blow to us, I still think collectively we still have enough firepower to mount a challenge. So at least I personally wouldn't decide that tomorrow if we lose the 3 biggies cheaply, I wouldn't, day after, I wouldn't hang my head down and say, oh, that's it, it's over. All I'm doing is waiting for 1 or 1:30 p.m. and I can go home. So I think if there is a reason why you brought up those names, I think we have done something to earn that mention. And I think it's about time we lived up to it.
Okay. Now, see, Jesse, your opponent. Any questions for him?
No, actually, the good part is that, as Avi mentioned, that the 2 teams actually have a lot of friends common in each other's camp. So, actually, me, Avi, we have already exchanged the best wishes for each other for the game. So, I think there is nothing to ask, but I would again reiterate that it's a game of cricket where always there will be a favorite before going into the game. But the beauty about this game has always been, I think, from what I've followed cricket, what makes cricket worth watching is the inclusion or is the introduction of the dark horses, or you can say the underdog that comes into the picture. So I think going into this match, Warriors definitely is the underdog, but it's not that we haven't seen underdogs winning or underdogs turning the tables. So I think MI Rangers have done against knockers. So there is no reason why Warriors, who have already been into the finals last year. So I think it is a great contest, and I personally, as a team captain, I know that it's a pretty uphill task to actually win this game against a formidable side of Pokeries. But I promise to best of my abilities that we, as the Warriors team, will not leave any stone unturned to make it a contest. Yeah.
Okay. With that, I'll go to Viju before we conclude our show. Viju.
Well, I guess my number one question to Avinash is Ravi Narala going to play? He needs to play. Pokeries is Ravi Narala. If Ravi Narala doesn't play, that takes a lot of charm away from the game. I don't know, as a DCL fan, I feel it should be Ravi Narala and 10 other guys. And which 10 guys, doesn't matter. But Ravi Narala has to play. It's as simple as that. So Avinash, my number one question is, will you guys do whatever it takes to make sure that Ravi Narala plays the game? Because he has to play the game.
So yes, that's a good question. While I personally can't speak for Ravi, I think the point you make is very valid. And apart from that one league game, I believe it was against GLCC, where Ravi actually benched himself because he wanted to accommodate some other players. Ravi is typically not the kind of guy who will seat himself unless he's completely not fit to play. And I know there was talk about the previous game where Ravi benched himself, but that wasn't for reasons of wanting to include someone else. He actually had an ankle injury and he was actually hobbling around on one leg. So, and he wasn't very comfortable. So that's the only reason why he didn't play the previous game. So if Ravi thinks that he's 100% fit physically, I am pretty certain, I don't see a reason for why he would bench himself.
Thank you. That helps, because I did not know about the injury, because exactly. I looked at the scorecard and I saw Ravi Narala didn't play, and I was pretty disappointed, and I just felt, right. I hope that he would play, because when we think Pokeries, we think Ravi Narala first, and then comes everybody else, kind of a thing. But as you said, I think as Jasneet said, there is always an underdog and there is always a top dog, and I think clearly almost everybody in the world thinks that Pokeries is going to win, but cricket is a funny game. All you need is a puncher's chance, you see. And all it requires is one ball, and that's it. The batsman is back in the pavilion. So I have always thought that it's an even game once the first ball is delivered, which team shows up mentally prepared and mentally strong and willing to make a game out of it. We'll see an interesting contest.
Right. And I'd just like to make one point, also allude to what Jasneet mentioned. Personally, Jassi, I don't think the comparison of our game to the MI Rangers versus Knockers game was a very fair one. I don't think, with all due respect to those teams as well, I don't think our performance has been anywhere near as comprehensive as that of Knockers, and I don't think Warriors beating Pokeries would be an earth-shattering upset. So I personally don't subscribe to that analogy. And yes, like you said, it all depends. And sure, I guess it helps from a mental standpoint to consider yourself the underdog. And yes, we do know that we've probably we've hit the right notes to be given top billing in this game. But to be very honest, I think from our perspective, like KK pointed out, yes, we have had our hiccups. We haven't comprehensively trounced the opposition all the way since day one. So for us, we're just looking at every game as a step further to improve. We keep finding new kinks in our armor every now and then, and our goal is to just somehow utilize the collective strength and iron out those kinks and hopefully go further.
Okay.
So if Jachi is still on the line, I'll just say, you know what, and let's just give these guys a good show, and may the better team on the day win.
Okay. With that, we already passed 8 minutes from our show, and thanks a lot, Raghu, for Avinash for joining DCL Talk Show. I will conclude with the last words from our analysts. KK?
I would like to thank all the folks from the semi-final teams to join the show and provide their insights. Although they were not able to give the 100% information in some cases, but yes, I do expect it because it's a semi-final game and everyone has their own plans which they don't want to reveal upfront. So, but however, I would like to wish both Pokeries and Warriors all the best for their game, and also Thunders and Raptors a good game. And nothing makes the DCL community happier than seeing a good contest in the semi-finals and finals. So, wish all the teams all the very best and game on.
Okay. Viju?
I just hope from DCL's perspective and as a fan, I hope that all 4 games come right down to the wire. I think you have in Pokeries as well as Warriors 2 teams with 2 different mindsets. It'll be interesting to see which mindset prevails. I mean, you have some attacking batsmen for Pokeries, but you have a little bit more conservative batsmen for the Warriors side. We know that DCL has always been rewarded those who have been patient, and so in that sense, Warriors have the edge. But in terms of swashbuckling talent, Pokeries have the edge. But clearly, in terms of mental strength, I think Warriors are shown time after time that they are mentally extremely strong, and that they wouldn't have reached the finals last year, and they wouldn't have almost won the finals last year without that kind of mental strength. So clearly, in terms of tactics and in terms of mental strength, you have to give the edge to Warriors. But in terms of talent and in terms of ability and in terms of sheer firepower, you have to give the edge to Pokeries. So it's going to be a real good even contest, I think, if you look at it from that angle. Same thing with the Thunders-Raptors game. I think Raptors have shown that, every time they've won the toss, they have chased any target down. And with regards to Thunders, just like Pokeries, they have all the talent in the world. 1 to 11, they have all kinds of players who can do all kinds of magical things. But again, I think we'll have to wait and see how that Sandeep introduction into that playing 11 is going to, how a Thunder is going to handle it, and how are they going to play him out, and what kind of damage Sandeep can do, kind of a thing. So again, once again, one team chasing any target which has been placed before them, and on the Thunder side, undefeated. So 2 teams coming with something to prove, and that only one of them is going to win. So it'll be very interesting to see which one will win there. No matter what, you will have a classic contest in the DCL finals. So as a fan, I'm really, really excited, and thanks for having us on the show. And I really enjoyed the panel. I enjoyed listening to many of these guys from the various teams. Sure, I did not expect any of them to reveal anything which is close to their heart. They're going to keep it very close to their chest. And that's exactly what happened, and that's nothing surprising there. But we wish all of them best of luck.
With that, we'll conclude today's show. Thanks a lot, Viju, for joining on a short notice. Thanks a lot, KK. Thanks Avinash for joining the show. Good night. Good night, and all the best to all the teams that made it to semi-finals, and keep listening DCL Radio.